doing this in the middle of a heat wave in a room with no air conditioning is our punishment for not finishing KaiJUNE in the month of June. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
It's hot in here.
And it's KaiJULe.
Yeah, listen. First off, you know how this channel is. It's the most unprofessional review show on the internet. It's literally just us on the couch talking about a movie that we just saw, just because we thought it'd be fun. So yeah, sorry that we did not finish KaiJUNE in June. But also, there were conditions this month. I already explained, my computer was in the shop for a week, so the fact that I'm finishing this not in August, I feel pretty good about. So we're talking about Colossal today, yeah. So we've been going so every single episode has been going decade by decade, starting with the very first Godzilla film, going all the way up into the 2020s. We're now the 2010s. And I wanted to do Pacific Rim because I figure that's probably the most popular kaiju film of the 2010s. It's arguable between that and Shin Godzilla, but we're already doing a whole lot of Godzilla films. Shin Godzilla is my favorite Godzilla film, so trust me, it's not personal preference or anything. However, my Pacific Rim Blu-ray wouldn't play, so we were like, wait a minute, there's another film that was a kaiju movie in the 2010s that not a lot of people talk about, but we both like it.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen it in almost a decade now at this point, and I have been curious to return to it because I remember telling other people to go watch this, and they came back like, yeah, no. And then I looked at the reviews. The entire reason that I saw it was because it got really good critic reviews. There was like over 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. But then I looked at the audience score, which I normally never do. But I looked at the audience score, it was like 50%. And I was like, oh, that's a split. Normally, it's like the other way around. Like, it's hard to make an audience mad about something. Like, typically, if you see an audience score in, like, the 50s or something, there was, like, some influencer out there going, you all need to go and say this is a bad movie without even seeing it. This was, like, a very small indie film. Nobody saw this. So I was like, oh, no, those are genuine. I did not like these reviews. So I have been curious to return to it and see, like, okay, what didn't people like about it? And will I see it this time? And I think I understand complaints a little bit more this time around, but I still really like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too, even though, like, it does have some issues, but yeah.
Yes. By the way, the movie we're talking about is Colossal. I just realized I don't think I ever actually said that. But yeah, this came out in 2016, and it is a very unique kaiju film.
Yeah.
Because it is one. It does count. But man, it's a kaiju film in the same way that Unbreakable is a superhero film. It's like, no, it's there at the very end, but it's more about like the conditions surrounding it and what it's all a metaphor for and how this element suddenly thrown into your life really fucks up your already fucked up life. It's kind of like that. The premise is that Anne Hathaway plays this woman, Gloria, and she is in hot water with her boyfriend because she is an irresponsible drunk. She is a party girl, constantly going out, and he is just like, you're ruining your life. You don't do anything. You don't have a job anymore.
Her incredibly British boyfriend.
Yes. Very British boyfriend. I remember when I first saw that, I thought he was Malfoy from the Harry Potter films. He's not, but he's around the right age. He's a little bit older than Malfoy is. But I was like, dude, I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know how he aged. Maybe he had a really rough life. But he has very much that look to him. He says, like, listen, you gotta sort your life out, and I can't be around you until you do. So she's kind of left going like, oh, shoot. And he even says, like, you gotta get out of here. You've been mooching off me for the longest time. Listen, you gotta go and actually get your life in order. So she goes back to her hometown. And she moves into what I am assuming is her family's old home. Yeah. It's abandoned. Like, she says it. She does say it, but it is such a very brief, quick, like, oh, okay, so I guess that's just what you did. You just, all right. But yeah, so she moved into her family's old home, which is abandoned, and she owns nothing by herself. Everything was her boyfriend's. She has just been mooching off him the whole time. And so she's just there with an inflatable mattress that she bought. She doesn't even have a car, so she's like just carrying the thing from like the post office back. And then she ends up running into Jason Sudeikis' character, Oscar. And he and she were friends when they were children, and they haven't seen each other in a long time. But they kind of like get reacquainted, and she finds out that both of his parents died, and it again kind of sets up what a big mess she is, because she's like, oh yeah, wow, your dad was so nice. Well, what about your mom? And he goes, she died too. Oh no, that's so sad. He goes, you were at the funeral. Oh, like, yeah, it lets you know, like, she's kind of a wreck.
Yeah.
But he owns a bar. It was his dad's. It used to be like a country themed one, but he shut down one half of it so it could just be like a bar. Take out all the Western stuff, and they have like a conversation about that. But she just starts hanging out there late at night, and as things go on, Jason Sudeikis starts bringing by furniture for her to help fill out the place. He seems just very incredibly nice and friendly, just helping around. It's not hard for Jason Sudeikis to come off as nice and friendly. He literally has a show on Apple TV. I keep forgetting the name of it. We watched the first season of it. I did like it, but not enough to keep paying for Apple TV. But yeah, he has a show on Apple TV in which the entire premise is, what if the nicest man in America ran a football team? And that's it, and he plays it incredibly well. So yeah, that's kind of his MO. He knows how to do that. So yeah, he keeps bringing her by furniture, and she's just constantly like, we talked about that? He's like, yeah, we definitely talked about that, which again just kind of like tells you what a big mess she is. However, one morning she wakes up, and he's like, you didn't hear the news? And they show him the TV, and there's a kaiju in Seoul, South Korea that just walked past there. And it just blows everyone's minds. Like, yeah, I mean, think about the idea of, you don't know that kaijus are a thing. That's not. Just imagine if in the real world you just turn on TV and one day it's like, oh yeah, guess what? Godzilla just walked across the street, just on the other side of the world. Just there was Godzilla. It's like, what the? So she starts this.
Although in this day and age, you'd probably think, oh, that's just AI.
Yeah. But she is just stunned to see this, but life keeps going on. Jason Sudeikis gives her a job at the bar, so that way she can start kind of making some money, get her life in order. Jason Sudeikis has two friends that she starts hanging out with as well, one of whom she starts getting like a little bit romantic with. But then one day she is walking through this playground, and she's making very specific motions with her hands and doing a very specific thing.
Yeah, like she's on the phone, so...
Yep.
And then she gets mad and throws the phone.
And then she goes back home, turns on the TV, and she sees that, oh, just moments ago, the giant monster appeared in Seoul again. It was making strange hand signs, and like she sees it's doing this, throwing a phone action. And she realizes, oh my god, I'm the giant kaiju. For some reason, if I stand in this playground at this exact time, I just manifest in Seoul, South Korea as a kaiju. And that is an incredibly unique idea.
Yeah.
People always say, oh, there's no new ideas. No, there's new ideas. Some of them might take influence from previous ideas, but there's new ideas. And I love this premise. And as it goes on, you see that what the movie is actually about is that it is a metaphor for self-destructive behavior, because it is somebody who, she's ruined her own life, she's been ruining her boyfriend's life, she just hurts people around her, and then she goes and starts going, oh my god, I turned this kaiju when I'm in this here, that's crazy, I can't believe that. And then she starts to realize, oh, I'm wrecking a city.
Yes, I'm killing people.
Oh, yeah, there is a moment in which she like trips and falls down, and it just hits her up. Oh my god. And she like wakes up later, and all she's saying is how many people died. And Jason Sudeikis is like, you don't need to think about it. And she is just panicking and freaking out. And it takes what had been previously a fairly comical film and makes you go, oh shit. Yeah, that moment right there makes you realize the impact of giant monsters more than a lot of actual giant monster films. I was making a comment in a previous video about the MonsterVerse Godzilla films, like Godzilla x Kong New Empire. I really enjoy that film. It is just a big, dumb slobber knocker. King Kong's got some good emotional stuff in there. Godzilla's really cool. But that's all it is. It is a fun-ass popcorn film. But I mentioned there's a moment in which they are attacking a city in Brazil, and Godzilla just rams into buildings. You never stop for a second in that to think, like, how many people were in that building. This movie says, you better be thinking about how many people were in that building. And I really enjoy that. So it is her finally having to confront, I am destructive. I am a problem. And I think that's great. However, as I said, watching it this time, I started to understand complaints that some people might have. And one of them is, after she kind of says, I don't want to do that anymore, the film kind of turns around, which, I mean, there is kind of a twist in here, but I'm not going to spoil that until, I'll give some vague spoilers, but nothing that will, like, ruin your viewing experience. But after she realizes, okay, I did this horrible thing, she turns her life around really quick. And I was thinking about, we don't actually see her being that bad of a person before this. We mostly get told that she is that bad of a person. Like, her boyfriend lays out, like, you do this, you haven't had a job since now, blah, 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 blah. We don't really see her doing much other than showing up to her boyfriend's place late. Just being like, hey, and clearly she's hungover. But that's kind of it.
Well, I don't know. It's like, as soon as he leaves for work, her friends come crashing in.
Yeah, and we do see, like, okay, so her friends do kind of come over and just wreck his place, and they are all party animals who don't care about anything. So you get a sense of it there. But, like, when she gets back home, Jason Sudeikis says the thing about, like, you were at her funeral. And it's like, okay, that lets you know, again, she's a total wreck. But we never see her get, like, crazy, destructive, drunk. We never see her, like, we never really see her being a bad person to other people. We're just told she has been a bad person to other people. So I'm like, okay, I understand her turning herself around happens pretty quick, and we didn't actually see that many of the bad things that we're told that she did. I can understand those complaints now. However, outside of that, also, I will say, they do give an explanation for why she turns into the kaiju. It does not matter at all.
By the way, not turn into kaiju, like, as in, like, she actually transforms into one. She is in the U.S., and the kaiju comes in Seoul, so, like, she's controlling...
Like a projection.
She's like, basically, like, controlling the kaiju. Like, everything she does, the kaiju does.
She's, like, mocapping a kaiju.
Yeah, basically.
But, yeah, so there is an explanation given, but it is so just like, which, granted, it's not the point. Why she turns into this is not the point at all of the film, so it doesn't bother me that much. However, if you're gonna put an explanation in there, you might as well try. This one is like, dude, what is this?
It's like, I can't think of an explanation. I just wanted to make a cool kaiju movie.
It's literally a Deus Ex Machina.
It really is.
It literally is the machine from the gods comes down and just like, boop, okay.
God is like, and fuck you in particular. Like,
yes, that is very much what it is. Yeah, so it's like, okay, I can understand. If you were there for the actual kaiju stuff, and you're like, okay, well, what's the explanation of this? You're gonna be disappointed. It's bad, but that's not what I cared about in this film, so it didn't bother me that much. But I can understand why that would upset some people. I will also say, I love this, but I understand why some people would be like, wait, what? After she finds out about it's her, she's the kaiju, and she has that scene of like how many people died, there is a twist that happens. And it gets really, really dark. All the humorous stuff from the first half is gone. This becomes a movie not about her destructive behaviors, but about people with destructive behaviors in general.
This is a horror movie, but the horror isn't the kaiju.
Yes, it is a horror film. You go into this and you're thinking it's going to be a goofy, silly comedy. Halfway through, this turns into like one of those 90s horror dramas about being in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It becomes a film about abusive relationships. And I understand people being turned off by that. I do, especially when you didn't know that's what the film was going to become. However, I was okay with it taking that turn, and I will say, God damn, I think they do a really good job with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is. I mean, I'm looking at, they are depicting an abusive relationship in here. And they're depicting somebody with, like, actual problems. I don't want to go into too many details about what kind of problems, because that does get kind of spoilery, but they go into, like, details of it, and I was looking at it, like, holy shit, whoever made this knew somebody like this. This feels way too real. And the acting during these segments is so good. It is shockingly good. Again, we will go into a spoiler section. But there are moments in which I am looking at characters in here as like, I have not felt this uncomfortable at a movie in a long time. And I understand why some people would be like, I don't want anything to do with that. And I can understand why some people would be upset by that because they did not think that's what this film was going to be. But I think the twist of it is what makes it really effective. Yeah, we'll definitely go into more details about it, but there are moments in which, like, they're talking to somebody who is destructive, and somebody who is abusive, and just the line deliveries in that moment are like, oh, God, could a giant monster please appear right now, and please take me out of this scene? This feels really uncomfortable. So yeah, I love that, but I get why some people wouldn't. Like, this is one of those films that I feel comes with a trigger warning, but the trigger warning spoils the impact of it. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, I feel bad that I've even talked about this much. Also, I will say, I don't really care for the ending all that much, but it's another reason for, like, why I don't care for the explanation of why she's a kaiju. It's like, how on earth do you know that even works? Like, it's one of those, like, yeah, this, like, it's one of those ones in which you gotta just get to that point in the film in which you're like, listen, I'm not here for this. We just need this thing to happen. Just roll with it. And I was like,
I don't know. It's like, if this is possible, then that is possible. So let's do it. So like,
it is just enough that I'm like, well, I guess. It's just enough that I'm not like, well, that's bullshit. But it is like, all right, I don't think that, I don't see how you'd come to that. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Like, it's that kind of an explanation where I'm like, you know what, whatever. It's, I'll take it. It's not what the movie is about. It's not what the movie's about. Fine. But yeah, I still really enjoy this film. How about you?
I also very much enjoyed this film.
How do you feel Anne Hathaway did in this film?
I think she's a good actress. I mean, I always enjoyed Anne Hathaway's stuff. So
yeah, I think you have a longer history with her than I do. But yeah, I think that she's good here. Like I said, I just wish they had let her get. I don't know if this is the right word I want to use, but I wish they had let her get a little bit more degenerate. Like, just let her go crazy. Like, just be like, okay, if you're supposed to be this destructive, like, there's only one scene where we see her looking vaguely drunk, and I'm just like, all right, that is, like, lightweight drunk. Like, if you're supposed to be this bad, I want to see you worse. And I didn't have that problem the first time I watched it, because I was a little bit more along for the ride. But this time that I'm, like, analyzing it a little bit more, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's...
Yeah, but it's like, you said this is, like, an independent film, so, like, I don't know if, like, they have the budget to make the kaiju, like, do the same stuff.
No, I'm not talking about the kaiju. I'm talking about Anne Hathaway specifically. I was like, I wanted to see her, like, let me see the thing that makes me go, oh, wow, you are a problem and need to fix your life. And I was just like, I think you guys are being a little bit too harsh on Anne Hathaway here. Like, she seems fine to me. Who hasn't forgotten a funeral every now and again? Like, Like, that's literally, like, that, like I said, it's too much show don't tell of why she was destructive. So when she does turn her life around, like I said, it happens way too fast. But it kind of happens way too fast because the twist kind of takes over that storyline, and it forces her to kind of, like, adapt to that. And I was like, okay, we should have had a little bit more of, like, okay, if Anne Hathaway is supposed to be destructive and it becomes a movie more about just destructive people in general, I wish we had seen Anne Hathaway kind of being destructive as well and like slowly teetering like, oh, this is wrong. I don't, no. Rather than just like beep, boop, no, I'm not like that anymore. So yeah, that is a problem I have with it. But like, I still think the film is great. I still highly recommend it.
Yes.
Just know it's going to be an uncomfortable movie. So yeah, we're now going to go into our review, our score, and then we're going to get into spoilers. I'm going to say right now, the spoiler section is probably going to be longer than anything we've had this month.
Yeah.
So, my score, I've gone back and forth on this. I think I'm going to give it an A-.
Oh, me too.
Okay, cool.
Because, like, it's good, but we did point out some of its issues, but it's not enough for us to, like, deter from the movie or anything.
Yeah. I should also point out, I looked up the director, because the director was also the writer, and I was like, what else has this person done? It's weird they did this, and I've never heard of anything else. The only thing else they've done that I recognize was they had a segment in VHS Viral, which is the worst VHS film. And I went, oh no. But then I looked at the segment he did, and I was like, okay, if there's any segment that I have to say is good, it's that one. It's definitely the best in that film. It's still just kind of okay. But I was like, you know what, listen, man, if I say you're okay in VHS Viral, you're doing all right. Okay, we're going to the spoiler section now. So the twist that happens is that after Anne Hathaway wakes up and she's asking how many people died, I love that Jason Sudeikis' answer is, not that many. And it's like, man, even a few is devastating. Like, yeah, it's...
Yeah, like, even, like, one person, like...
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, when you're a kaiju, you don't really care, but, like, this is a human being killing other human beings.
Because she just wanted to show off. Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, that's an impact. And I love that later on, we see that she tries to make up for this by going to, like, a Korean restaurant and asking them to, like, translate something, and then she goes back as the kaiju and, like, makes this to tell everyone to spread out, and then she writes in the ground in Korean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I won't do it again. And there's a moment that I love in which they cut back to the bar where everyone is watching this live, and there's some old guy there, and he just goes, I knew it. I knew it was a good monster. And that was another thing that I wish I brought up in the first part of the review, is that I kind of wish there were some more supporting characters in this town. I kind of wish there were more people at the bar that we knew. It's really just the two people who keep hanging out after hours and this one guy, Joe. And we don't even really get to know Joe that much. But I was like, that's a big bar. You could have introduced a couple more people.
Well, it was a big bar, then it closed off half.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, okay, so I wish that happened. But I dig that. If we want to talk about her trying to make things better, there was that. That was all right. But none of that really matters after this twist gets introduced, which is that Jason Sudeikis had to go in there and grab her drunken ass out of this playground. And when he went into the playground, a giant robot appeared in Seoul and grabbed and interacted with the monster. And they discovered, okay, when she goes in, she becomes this giant lizard monster. When I go in, I become a giant robot, and it's only us. Nobody else has this happen. And Anne Hathaway is like, okay, we can't say anything about this. And Jason Sudeikis is like, this is kind of cool. And she goes by there one day in the morning and sees him there, like
on the playground.
Like, and he's goofing around.
Yeah.
And, like, his friend is there watching on the live footage, and she is freaked out, like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, what? We made sure that nobody was around. It's fine. Stop freaking out about everything. And the moment in which she is like, no, you have to get out of here, suddenly a darkness kind of appears in Jason Sudeikis. And it keeps growing. And as it goes, like, the first time that I watched this, I was shocked. I did not see this coming at all. Watching it this time, I was like, I can see it there.
Mm-hmm.
It was always there. Like, there's a moment in which she's starting to flirt with one of his friends at the bar, and they kind of start to go in for a kiss, and then he comes in and he screams, "Hey, what did I tell you about that? No more of that, okay?" And the guy's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. And the first time that I watched that, I was like, oh man, this guy must have a history of doing something with women. That guy's gonna probably be a problem. No, Jason Sudeikis is a possessive piece of shit, and he was like, no, that's my woman. I claimed her already. Yeah, and he kept bringing her stuff, and he was like, yeah, we talked about this, don't you remember? I was like, oh man, she got so blackout drunk that she didn't remember.
Or maybe he's gaslighting her.
Exactly. Watching it the second time, it's like, oh no. He's lying so that he can keep giving her shit so she'll be dependent on him.
Yep.
He's trying to win that favor. I was like, oh God, this is, watching it the second time knowing that twist is coming, oh, it is dark.
Mm-hmm.
And he eventually gets to a point in which he's like, in which it becomes clear that he is destructive and he is bad for her and he's going to hurt her. But he tells her, all right, you think I'm a problem? You think I'm going to hurt you? You can leave anytime you want. But if you leave, I'm going back to that playground and I'm going to start just crushing buildings. And she knows she is now stuck around this abusive asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And if she leaves, hundreds and thousands of people will die. And that's what this is. It becomes a movie about being trapped in an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit. And one of the big reasons it works is I kept saying this in the first part. Jason Sudeikis is one of the nicest guys out there. He literally has a show, Ted Lasso. I remember the name of it finally. He has a show, Ted Lasso, where the premise is he's the nicest man you've ever met. And it works. And I watched this. It is chilling. Like, you don't watch this as like, okay, Jason, you're not cut out to play the bad guy. You watch this and it's like, I don't think I can watch Ted Lasso ever again.
It's like there's just an evil underneath it all. I just know it. Like,
he is so menacing in here, and it's not like maliciously like rubbing his hands.
No.
It's like, no, it is a quiet of he just sits there and stares and just says flat out, very basic, like, no, I'm just gonna sit here and watch and make sure that you don't leave. I know your boyfriend offered you a chance to leave, but I'm just gonna sit here. Just make sure you don't do it. You can sleep right there on the couch. I'm gonna be up all night, don't worry. And it's like, holy shit. And I said this the first time that I saw this movie, and it's true right now. You should never remake The Shining. The Shining should not be remade. It's done. You're not gonna top that. That's the most iconic one. However, if for some reason it has to be remade, like you came to me and said, hey, all versions of the original copy have been destroyed and now we have to, by contract, make a new one. Who should play Jack in there? Jason Sudeikis. Yes. That is the guy I would trust to be the loving father figure in the beginning who slowly goes insane and becomes an axe killer. Yeah, 1000%. This is a film that I remember. I kicked the camera, I apologize. But I remember watching this being like, he isn't going to get the nomination, but he deserves a supporting actor nomination. Yeah, I was, man, it was really chilling. From there, man, that segment in the bar where he's setting off the firework, just the cold, like, tackle step by step of him, like, talking through the whole process. I was like, holy shit. This guy's a supervillain. But eventually you do get the explanation of how this happened, and you see, like, he was always an asshole. He, like, destroyed her school project when she was a kid. And you see, like, she's there, and they're walking to school one day, and he destroys her project in the spot where the playground will eventually be built, which I will say this, they only appear at, like, 8:05 in the morning, because that's when she got struck by the lightning as a kid. Oh, yeah. That's what happened. She was there back when they were kids. She got struck by lightning.
And so did he, and that's how they...
And they had action figures with them. She had the lizard monster action figure. He had the robot action figure. Which, that's one thing that I have to point out. If those were actual action figures, somebody would have looked at these monsters and been, it's these monsters from this thing. And that would have been identified immediately.
I don't know, maybe it's like one of those bootleg toys or like knockoffs or something like that.
Even those would have been discovered. Like, trust me, the internet, even in 2016, would have been on that shit. So yeah, I kind of have a problem with that. And it's like, and also like, she just got hit by, like, okay, how did you turn these monsters? Well, she got struck by this purplish bolt of lightning one day. Where'd the purplish bolt of lightning? That just raises further questions.
It came from the sky. Like we said before, like Deus Ex Machina.
It's literally just like, I don't know, bam, it happened.
Yeah, like bam, you become the lizard, you become the robot.
And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, the explanation is not the point of this. It does not matter.
Oh, but
like,
like,
if you're going to do it...
Yeah, it's like, and the reason why the monsters show up in Seoul is because the project that the kids were working on was like this diorama of like certain like parts of the world, and hers was Seoul, and like when basically the wind blew it over, and when he went to get it, he just started stomping on it.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, fuck her, her product's better than mine, I'm gonna destroy it.
Yeah. So he was an asshole from the beginning.
Yeah, he was. And, like, again, watching it this time, when you hear him talking about his dad, it no longer feels heartfelt like it did the first time I felt it. It felt more like I'm living in his shadow and I'm fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why you understand this guy. Like, it's a deconstruction of him more than it is of Anne Hathaway's character in this film. Because it's, oh, he feels small and now he gets to be big. Mm-hmm. And it's just... Oh, yep. I see that.
It's like, you don't care about anyone else but yourself. And it's...
So, but yeah, so the explanation, not that great. The resolution, she ends up getting on a plane, which, by the way, I wanted to point this out. One thing I love is that they only appear at 8:05 in the morning at this spot, because that's when she got hit by the bolt lightning, and that's when kids are going to the school bus. There's a moment in which they are racing to get to the playground. And you see them like running, and they run past a bunch of kids, and I love that they use that in order to get people, in order to like be the ticking time bomb, I guess, in order to like let us all know, like, oh, it's time. The little kid, you heard the kids talking in the background. It's about to happen, and I love that everybody is tuned to the like. There's a 24-hour live feed of Seoul of where the monster appears. And I love that, like, everyone has that on at all times, because why would you not? Especially when it's gotten to that point where everyone has realized they only appear at this specific time. Of course, everyone, every single morning is going to turn that on at that specific time and see. And I love the little touch of when they start confronting each other in the playground that time, you hear the houses in the neighborhood cheering. You hear like, when she slaps him, you hear people cheering, and he just gets, like, this quick look in his face of, like, yeah, everybody fucking hates me even when I'm this big, so be it. Like, you can see it's like, this is your opportunity to kind of be cool.
Yeah.
You could do something with this, and everyone is booing you around the world. This is not the guy who would respond well to that or learn a lesson. It's like, oh man, that is such a great little detail to throw in there. Like, when she's getting her ass kicked by him in the playground, which is brutal.
Yeah.
And you hear, like, off in the distance, someone is going, oh. I was like, that's such a good little detail. I love that.
Yeah, like, other than that, it was, like, dead silence. Like, no cheering, like, when Anne Hathaway was, like, punching him or...
well, no, like, when she, like, slaps him, you'll hear people applaud. And I love that, because it's, like, literally this asshole... He is being forced to be told by the entire world, we don't like you because you're a piece of shit. And does he learn from that? No. Like, he's like, fine, I'll destroy everything.
Yeah. You don't like it? Fuck you.
Yeah. Like I said, he is a little man who gets to be big, and that goes exactly the way you think. But when it comes to the resolution, excuse me. It's kind of like the explanation of why any of this is happening. I just realized I'm wearing green on the shirt. Whatever, enjoy
I kind of have green on
we're going to have a weird green screen episode, everybody. The explanation is another one of those where it's like, okay, it's like the explanation, okay, when it comes to the resolution, it's kind of like the explanation where it's like, that's not entirely what this was about, but it is kind of like, how on earth did you know that would work? Like, she goes to Seoul, and that causes her monster to appear back there on the playground when he appears there. And it's like, okay, I can understand taking that leap and hoping it'll work. I can understand your mind going, okay, let's see if this works. She then reaches down and grabs him. I'm just like, there is no way you would know where he is. There is no way. Like, you would destroy houses by doing that.
Yeah,
just like
honestly, like, when the monster came over, like, the hills, like, oh, I hope that monster didn't, like, crush any houses on the way over, or the school
I was thinking
where the
that
kids
too.
were going to, or...
I was saying, too, I was like, how on earth do we know that didn't work out?
Also, how are, like, no one else, like, noticing, like, the stomping? I mean, I know they're glued to the TV set, but sure they would have, like, felt the ground shake. Yeah,
and then she reaches down and grabs him, picks him up, and you see the robot floating in there, so you could understand maybe, like, okay, she knows the monster successfully appeared back there because she sees the robot look up and freak out. How does she know where the robot is on the ground? Because there's nothing she can look at, but she reaches down and grabs him, and then she just throws him away, and you see the robot go flying off into the background, like Team Rocket style. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I understand the catharsis of this. I understand why this is a cathartic ending, but still, like, it raises too many questions. Like, I need to see her, like, go to a Home Depot or Best Buy or something and get, like, a little mini camera and hook it up there in the playground and see her on her phone in Seoul, like, checking, like, like, just enough that I would be able to go, like, okay, I will give you that this works where the monster appears back there. You gotta give me something to explain how you can pick him up, like how you'd be able to figure that out.
Yeah.
But at the end of this, she goes into a restaurant and the person in there says, "Did you see the giant monster go flying up?" And she starts tearing up. And it's like, yeah, she had to, like, do this. She had to kill this guy. And it's like, man, yeah, that's going to be no matter how terrible he was, that's going to weigh on her.
Yeah.
And she says,
but it's one guy versus hundreds of thousands of people.
Exactly.
So.
But then this interviewer is saying, "Would you like to hear a story?" And the person goes, "Sure. Can I buy you a drink?" Or not buy your drink, but it's like, "Would you like to see the drink menu?" And then she just goes, and she just paused there. And it's supposed to imply that she's going back on her bad habits again. And I was just kind of like, you dropped her being a bad person so quickly in here, it feels bad to at the very end be like, oh yeah, she didn't fully resolve all these problems. Like, no, like, it dropped, like, she is sober on a dime the moment that this happens. It feels weird for her here at the end to be like, maybe I am still a bad person. It's like, no, it should have been like a back and forth of will she, won't she get better in order for that to work. Yeah. I don't think that works. So yeah, it's like, I get where you're going for there with that ending. I don't think it quite played out.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you want to say spoiler related?
No, not really.
Yeah, this might be the longest spoiler section we've done in a while, but like I said, this is one of those films where it's like, it hits you in the gut when you get to that reveal. But even if you sat through the spoiler section because you're like, I'm never going to watch this, it's still worth watching, I think. But that's it. We only have one more film for KaiJUNE. We're going into the 2020s, this generation, this decade, and we are going to finish it off where we started. We're going back to the OG Godzilla with Godzilla -1. See you then, everybody.
Bye.